On today's episode, we're dishing up some Mission Impossible Fallout spoilers, MoviePass, with its tail between its legs, is forced to face reality, and Disney gets a head start on its upcoming streaming service.
This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome, everyone, to Off the Break Podcast. I'm Cody, and with me are my Caped Crusaders, Kyle and Eric.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, to start it off, we all saw Mission Impossible. Super exciting. I think it's safe to say we all enjoyed it.
Oh,
Yes.
I loved it so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much.
Okay, well, who wants to start? With Eric, since you
Well,
loved it
since
so much?
Since I was the only one who wasn't able to participate last time.
Nope.
No, I thought it was crazy. Right off the bat, I thought the intro was really long, like before it cuts to the intro credits, but that Halo jump was probably because I've been avoiding all behind the scenes featurettes and everything, and that was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Just that one long camera take as you see. I mean, they're literally falling to the earth through a thunderstorm. It was crazy.
I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but the camera did not focus all the way because they had to keep like a 3 feet distance at all times, and yet you're falling through the air trying to do that. And you know what? I was really okay with that. It made it feel so much more authentic.
It was the whole time, and you're just seeing the ground rushing up towards them. It's like, okay, come on, please. Like, obviously, they're gonna be fine because they have 2 hours more of movie to be in. But in the moment, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
How can they film this? How are the producers letting Tom Cruise do this to himself?
Right. And Henry Cavill.
And yes, and Henry. I don't want to shortchange him at all.
No, everybody gives Tom Cruise all this, like, oh, he did his own stunts. Henry Cavill had to jump out of the plane and just lay there after the lightning strike.
So scary.
And he had to make sure that, like, he didn't act conscious while he was following through, which he couldn't see because he then gets turned on his back and stuff.
Yeah. No, I thought it was super awesome. The one thing I was thinking at the very, very beginning, like before the whole Halo jump sequence, was because I've had just so recently watched Ghost Protocol, which I know you haven't seen.
No.
But the intro wasn't. It took its time more than the other ones. Like Ghost Protocol opens with this really awesome prison break sequence, but this one, I'm not really sure how to describe it. I liked it a lot, but it took its time, and it wasn't afraid to be a little smaller stakes. Like it culminates into him choosing either to save Luther or to save the plutonium. Right. So I get that. I just was comparing it to the other ones. I'm like, okay, this intro is a lot more, again, taking its time.
It kind of felt like that intro was showing the stakes that they wanted to go with this particular movie, as with like the first, or like not the first ones, but the last couple that we've seen. Like they've just been action intros to show like we still got this spectacle going on. That's what it kind of felt like to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you guys even for a split second think he actually like shot Luther? I thought for a split second, I was like, no, he did.
He technically did.
I thought he shot him like in the leg and then shot the next guy. I didn't, and then I was like, oh, okay, he has a bulletproof vest.
I thought maybe it went through him and got the guy behind him.
That
was a little bit more
aim.
morbid, I guess. It's like he took him out, goodbye Luther, and took out the other guy. But I was glad to see he survived.
Yeah, Luther is just a staple in this franchise as well as
Bing Rames is just the cadence to his voice. Oh, I love listening to that man talk.
He needs to be in more stuff. Like I don't even know what else I've seen him in other than Mission Impossible. But I'm glad that he's in Mission Impossible.
Fiction.
Okay, yeah, that too.
Way back in the day.
Were
you even born then?
Yeah, that was the year of my birth.
Okay.
My mom took me to see that movie while I was still in her belly.
Oh.
So she says it was my
and you
first
memorized
movie.
every line, right?
It's like a rite of passage in my family.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, he's just a staple in this franchise. Like you can't just get rid of Luther.
Right.
Well, that Halo jump, I wasn't expecting it to be like the intro stunt, because all of the trailers and the marketing and everything, I'm assuming they're kind of switching things around. But yeah, right off the bat, I was like, oh, we're just starting with this. They must be really confident in what's to come too, which was obviously true. They should have been, because the whole movie was just ridiculous.
After the Halo jump, you get the huge chase sequence through Paris, and then you get the big helicopter sequence at the end.
Yeah, either one of those would have been like the big set piece in a different Mission Impossible movie. And this one is just like, just put all three of them in there.
And let's not forget the bathroom scene in between what you guys just said.
Oh
the bathroom scene is one of the best fight scenes of like the franchise, probably. Like, I love it. I love watching it.
When I was watching it, I was like, why is this guy always going after Tom Cruise, who looks smaller than Henry Cavill? You think you would take out the big guy first.
Probably just too scared.
It makes so much more sense.
That guy was insane, though.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Oh, my God. The fight choreography there. I didn't even know who that guy is. I don't know his name. But
I watched an interview with Henry Cavill, and he explained who the guy was, and he said
he's got to be some crazy martial arts.
He currently is working on a couple of other projects as like a stunt. Oh, what is it? Like as a coordinator of some kind for like.
I can see why. My
whatever.
God, it was brutal watching him take those guys down.
Yeah, I think he also mentioned they had a few smaller roles and a few other things too. I'd have to go back at the interview. I think it was Kimmel that he talked about it. But yeah, no, the guy did a very good job at making that scene work so well, especially with Tom Cruise.
It's just this
Cavill.
tiny little guy, and he's just doing these moves that I've never even considered before. And
he takes out Henry Cavill.
Yeah, you got to be smart and fast if you're gonna go up against that behemoth.
I just felt like he would look at him and then go after Tom Cruise, and I'm like why is he really concentrating on Tom Cruise? Like, man is older and smaller.
Yeah.
And then it makes perfect sense. Then you get, so my interest was tweaked in that. I was like, obviously something is going on. And then you get that scene with Angela Bassett's character later, and he switches out the phone. Yeah. And you're like, oh, you're so bad. It was such good foreshadowing, that whole scene.
Oh, yeah.
That was like one of the complaints I had about it, is that it felt like towards the end of the movie, when the team realizes who Henry Cavill really is, like it was supposed to be like a twist for the audience as well, but we had foreshadowing to it already. Like, I think it was obvious to us at that point that we're like, oh, he's the bad guy here as well. And that part kind of bugged me a bit, not because Henry Cavill played a bad guy. Like, I really liked that. He did a good job, but just because I don't think it was structured well to where it tricked anyone. I think everyone was like, oh, well, okay, guess we'll have the team figure that out later.
I didn't necessarily think that it was supposed to be a huge gotcha moment, or what a twist. Like, obviously it's like, okay, we kind of figured that out, because like you said, they wouldn't foreshadow it like that if they were trying to make it this huge surprise.
But then why would we keep following him and Cruise together then, would be my question.
Don't know.
But we do know. I think the majority of audiences were able to figure that one out.
Yeah. Because he didn't hand him a broken phone. Gave it all away.
Exactly. I don't know. So that was kind of one of my complaints, is some of the character arcs were handled a bit wonky. Same with Michelle Monaghan's as well. I thought her arc as well was just kind of sudden, and was like, oh, is this really what we need? I love her. I love her in the franchise, but I just was kind of confused as to why we're throwing this in as well. But
he knew that was Ethan's wife, so he's probably just trying to set him or make him as emotionally unbalanced, mate. Like he's
trying to take away everything from Ethan Hunt. Yeah. Like Ethan Hunt took everything away from him.
Okay.
So in his mind, he didn't know about Isla being a love interest. That's why when they were in the car, he's like, interesting, because he knew about the ex-wife. So he had already prearranged for that to go
I just saw it as obviously that's
made.
A huge thing. We got to stop him from contaminating the water. But when he puts Julia there, Ethan, that's the only thing he really cares about.
Right.
At that moment, he's like, screw a third of the world and the water supply. I got to do this to save my wife.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely, I liked how they brought that in. And they even foreshadowed it a little bit too. Like, I was surprised when they said medical. Why do we have a medical clinic here? Why do we have, it made sense because of the X-ray technology, but I was like, oh, there's a character there. There's a character there that we need to know. I just didn't realize it was going to be her.
Well,
and that
yeah,
was
no, I
really
mean, that's
good
why
for
he
me.
orchestrated it
But
that
her
way.
name's in the credits though.
I
Like
hadn't seen-
I don't know. Maybe I'm able to pay attention to that a bit more. But
I hadn't seen the other ones, so I didn't like make that connection.
okay, yeah, that's a good point.
It was like
too.
a new, exciting thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I just thought she was put there. She was put there purposefully
Yeah.
to throw Ethan off. It wasn't supposed to be like a surprise for the audience because we had already seen her, but for Ethan, he's like, "Oh my god!"
See, now I felt like it was supposed to be a surprise for the audience too.
that she was in it.
Well, that and that, that was part of the. Oh, I'm forgetting the bad guy's name now, but that's part of the bad guy's
Lark?
plan to throw Ethan off a bit. Like, I don't know. I just all the times where with their character arcs and trying to twist the story around, like it just wasn't really working for me. I don't know. I could just kind of either like see it coming or it just wasn't a surprise. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it differently than you guys are, but
Yeah,
I
no,
still
I mean, I wasn't
really
surprised,
enjoyed
but I
it,
didn't.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be a surprise.
yeah.
So.
Okay.
How about when they were in the village though, and Ethan's gone off on the helicopter, and Isla is there with is it Benji,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
they're looking for the stuff. How like badass was she when
Oh,
she got
she's
tied
great.
up
Oh, yeah.
and had to get out of that chair? That as she struggled, it choked her. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, how strong is she?
It was like a perfect balance of having anxiety on like so many things happening at once. Like you're watching the helicopter scene, you're going, oh god, they're in helicopters, and then you go over to them being tied up, and then you're like, oh god, they're tied up, and she has to like break her back to get out of a chair.
Well,
It's
I love how it continued
perfect
that
balance.
that theme from the other movies where Ethan's doing just this crazy thing, but then at the same time the crew, the rest of his crew have their own equally important task to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're
And
able
struggles.
to and they're able to like up the stakes of that, and then it just starts cutting back and forth. It's like, oh my god.
And I think that's what the franchise has been doing so well. I think I said it on Friday's podcast too, but they just do a good job of knowing like how to handle the team as well and how to make them important and how to give them
Oh yeah, it's
as
not
important
Ethan.
stakes.
Ethan's not saving the day by himself. Every
Oh,
time.
no. He has the coolest stuff to do, maybe, but he's no, like it's now finally able to show like it's a team effort, but at the same time they know how to give Tom Cruise the moments that whether he may want or whether just as a main character needs to have.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I just love how it keeps track of what's happening and why it's happening, what the character is going to do, what they're thinking of doing next, and then I just think it's very well directed action.
I
Yeah,
didn't feel like
for sure.
it was a 2.5 hour film. I didn't feel like it was long.
I did,
You
but
did?
only at its slow parts, like when it would finally
The beginning was pretty slow.
Well, that and in between like the action scenes, some of the time like there would just be long, not long conversations, but just conversations that you can tell are going to be slowing down the pacing of the film. And at that point, especially towards the end, is where I felt like it being the longest movie of the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could say that it felt long to me in the way that like afterwards I think back and it's like, wow, a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah,
like
that's how it felt
we've
to
been
me.
through a lot.
But I didn't feel like I was like,
No, in the moment I wasn't,
I
because
didn't
every Mission
realize-
Impossible has like the downtime
Yeah.
between the set pieces.
Yeah.
And this was no different, and I thought this was some of the best, like, just downtime.
transition
Yeah.
and building time. Yeah.
Planning the next step. I thought it had a very good rhythm to it.
No. It did well. We knew it would open number 1, but it did a franchise best at 61 million. So
Woohoo.
that's good for Paramount. They needed that. And
Yeah, the 6th movie in like a 20+ year old
And it's
franchise
like-
being the biggest one.
it's
Yeah.
just getting better with age.
Yeah.
It's just getting more mature. The stunts are getting better. And and Tom Cruise is just really coming into his own in that action
There's
role
just
again.
nowhere for them to go now, though. Like, how are they gonna
Well, I think
come up with stunts that top that?
Stud in space.
yeah,
It has to be.
It has to happen.
or underwater or something.
You have to watch Rogue Nation then.
Oh, I gotta watch it all then.
Yes.
Well, we'll see where that goes. But I think they did enough with the story by closing out the chapter on his ex-wife and
Oh, yeah.
hinting to this new idea that he can have this relationship with a spy I would say almost equal caliber to him.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, I love the ending of this movie.
Yeah.
It just, right there in the
Oh my
tent.
gosh.
It doesn't need to keep dragging on. It just,
Yeah, that
And
worked
they,
out really
they
Right when
well.
communicated everything with a look.
Oh yeah,
It
right when
was so
everything
good.
reached its climax, it was like, okay, boom, movie's over.
One of the
Yeah.
rare endings
Perfect.
that we can both agree
Yeah,
are good.
It was a
Oh
great
my
ending.
gosh.
This is almost a first, I think.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
This feels weird. I don't know.
No, I,
Argue about something else. Argue about something else.
I'm probably gonna. I'm probably gonna see it again.
Yeah.
I thought it was
You know
super
what's
good.
kind of interesting though? It did well nationally. It was the franchise best. It overall was such a good quality film. Like
Yeah.
but in some places it just didn't perform. Like it really underperformed for us in some places, and was very shocked by that. And I just don't know if it's the busy time of the summer and small towns, if we're hurt by that a little bit because it's
Yeah.
almost the end, or what.
Back
But
to school,
because
ramping up.
this is one of those times where I feel like you can never gauge how audiences are going to respond to a film, and you can always give your best effort, and you can say, hey, this is going to be good for you as the client. This is good for us, and nationally it's going to be good. And when it doesn't perform, you're just kind of like left scratching your head like,
Yeah.
okay, this was actually good. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Audiences are so finicky. It's just crazy to me sometimes. It's just, you can never
There's
predict it.
Probably an infinite number of reasons why.
Yeah. But it definitely wasn't because the film was bad or poor quality. It was so good across the board that
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping that that word of mouth spreads, and that we'll see better grosses the next week, an uptick.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
people were just leery because they're like, oh, Tom Cruise, another mission movie.
Maybe. I mean, that's probably what they would have said the last couple ones, and those are really, really good too. So
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just something interesting I noted.
I wonder how
when we
big the
looked over
stigma of
grosses.
Tom Cruise it really is, because people seem to simultaneously love his movies and can admit that he's a fantastic movie star and actor, but then they also everybody likes to keep bringing up the fact that he's this crazy Scientologist guy.
Yeah.
Which is very true.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a stigma that maybe prevents a lot of people from checking out his movies.
I do think it still lingers a bit. I think he's a lot better than he was like a couple of years ago, but I do think that people just know of it so well that somehow even still
they're
it's
just kind of
fresh
like,
in
oh,
their
Tom
minds,
Cruise is
and-
crazy. He jumped on the couch. He's insane. He's a Scientologist. I don't need to see that.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with him. Like I don't
Right.
really care about.
Oh, I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I
is-
never really
yeah.
follow like celebrities' personal
Yeah.
opinions or whatnot. As weird as that might be to say, but I just focus on their career and the art that they put out, and he does
he's-
well.
He is
Consistently puts out good stuff.
the consummate actor, showman.
Yeah.
He is one of the few
Yeah.
mega stars left anymore.
I know.
So
Never die, Tom Cruise. Don't make any more Mission Impossible.
don't get too much older.
You
gonna
can see the
it's gonna
age.
start getting
I'm
weird.
telling you, this one you can see the age in his face a bit.
A little bit, but he's
Oh, yeah.
55, and
Oh,
we
yeah,
should we
and-
should post this on SSI. But there is a picture of Wilford Brimley. I don't know if you guys remember him with the big mustache when he was 55 in Cocoon.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, and it is crazy how insanely young and strong Tom Cruise looks. So I mean, he could be looking a lot older for his age.
Oh
than
yeah,
he
for
is.
sure.
So yeah, he still
I
looks
like it.
fantastic.
I mean, he
and-
literally ran
oh my
in
gosh.
Paris without breaking a sweat, and meanwhile I walk upstairs and I'm dying. So
Right, you're
he's
short of
doing-
breath.
He's
Tom Cruise
he's
is doing good.
just fine.
Yeah. So we should definitely post that though. It's really funny to watch
Yeah.
men in their 50s
Mhm.
and women in their 50s. The difference it can be.
Yeah.
Genetics.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
I'll
think-
tell you what I didn't do.
yeah. What didn't
I
you
did
do?
not see Mission Impossible with my MoviePass.
Was
I
it
was. We're just unable to.
really? You couldn't
Yep.
get the app to work?
And it's just blacked out.
Oh.
Yep. Because, MoviePass. It makes me sad talking about this every time.
Yeah.
Every
A
time.
little part of you dies each time we do.
But no, basically they kind of had to hear the music, and they're bumping their price up to $14.95, I think, a month,
Yep.
which is I think they were still at that $6.95 thing, which is not bad for
Right.
what you're getting, but naturally they're also putting a limit on all first run movies that play in 1,000+ screens for the first 2 weeks. So unless you're, I forget how they describe it.
1,000+ screens that's technically what we consider here at Silver Screen Insider limited. So I mean, we wouldn't at like a 1,200 print count, we wouldn't get it here in our local theater. Like that's it.
crazy.
So it's actually
So
it
this is
covers
basically like
most of the films you would get in a big run, except for maybe like platform releases or
that's
pretty
kind of what
obscure,
it seems like, because
really minor
they
independent.
said unless the theater and the studios have some sort of agreement or promotional thing, then they can allow you to use your MoviePass. But I can't imagine a whole lot of studios are gonna do that if they don't have to.
Well, I think a couple studios have paid MoviePass to send out a newsletter to all the MoviePass, because you don't get any. Usually, you don't get an email or newsletters for MoviePass, but you do get promotional reminders of films.
Yeah, you
and
do.
So I'm sure those studios, you would be able to pay, the ones that have already paid for the promotional reminder.
Yeah, true.
You will get to be able to go see those films, and it just makes that promotional reminder that much more valuable. But overall, I don't see the value in not being able to go see the film opening weekend and be part of the event of it.
No.
And and if you wait 2 weeks, why don't you just go to the theater when they have a special promotion like a Super Saver Tuesday and pay $5?
Yeah, I don't know.
You could do that 3 times and still pay about the same. Because so you're still limited in the number of times you go to the theater. So avid users and that want to go see the theater, say every weekend or 4 or 5 times a month, which is what the theaters need, is the avid movie going. The service doesn't make sense if you can't go to the opening film, because that much later you could just go on a promotional day and pay way less.
No, it when I was reading the email that they sent out, I was just kind of scratching my head like, okay, well, it's good that you realize that you can't lie to yourselves and us anymore about how, oh no, everything's fine. But I don't know. The whole 1,000+ screens thing is going to be a big frustration for a lot of people. And I think
you're going to get art titles in that. And that's in, I think, the movie-going public's mind. That doesn't seem like a film that should, sometimes they don't even know exactly when art titles come out and stuff. So
yeah, well, I mean, a lot of them, because I follow a lot of them, but they'll come out, but then it'll be like almost sometimes over a year before technically it's in a theater,
right, wide enough, because they do platform release, so they'll hit like New York and LA, and then they'll hit the top 25 markets, and they might expand it by 100 prints, and then they keep doing that depending upon the reaction that they're getting.
So people are going to be like, well, this MoviePass is now basically see a tiny art house indie film.
So is On the Break, when they first came out in New York or LA, that's never in the industry what we consider it. Usually for those kind of releases, it's their widest point, which may only ever be 1,000 prints.
Yeah.
So.
It just, I don't know. I'm getting just kind of tired of covering the whole MoviePass thing, but what I thought was interesting is that the AMC Stubs thing, that rival subscription, is exceeding its expectations already. So I kind of expected that, I guess.
Yeah. That one kind of made sense. It was a better deal than the Cinemark one. Because Cinemark was only $8 a month, but I only saw one movie.
Yeah.
That just was, I feel like I just need more movies. I'd rather pay a little bit more to see more movies.
Yeah.
So I think that's why AMC is doing better. And usually you have a local theater, and AMC being the biggest theater chain is usually probably most likely your local multiplex if you're in an area with one. Otherwise, it's usually an independent or, one of the other chains. So I could see where if you're in a bigger metropolitan area, you have a 15-plex or 20-plex AMC that's close by, it makes sense for you to do that. At least it's stable, and at least it's for the theater you're usually always going to.
Yeah.
I'm off the MoviePass train. I can't do it anymore. Everything they say is dumb. Every literally
Don't
every
sugarcoat it, Kyle.
I'm being I am being a little too nice about it, but I just don't. It was too good to be true, and all their plans they keep doing just don't make sense and aren't working. And
it was nice while it lasted.
Just wait a couple of months; they'll finally be out, and AMC will be the winners.
They'll either be out or there'll be dozens of more tiny fine print policies that people are just gonna.
They're doing market research on a policy in real time with their market. It's like, no, this is not how that works. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
So we'll see we'll keep watching the development. We'll see how it goes, but
development of their demise.
Well, we knew it wouldn't fully go away. We know that they're going to keep tweaking it and doing stuff, and it'll be there in some iteration because they have so much behind the branding and there's so much publicity around it. They don't want to lose the momentum of that. So they'll just keep tweaking it, and then we'll keep talking about how horrible the tweaks are. And all the while, we will have quietly canceled our subscriptions and moved on.
Cash is king.
Yes. Good old reimbursing. We have to do it the old-fashioned way. Well, in the theater, there's some news of some new upcoming kind of titles that we should be on the lookout for. There's a prequel being talked about for Sandlot. I don't even know if you guys are old enough to know about Sandlot.
I love the Sandlot.
We knew about
Those
Sandlot.
Those are my
we watched it
favorite
all the
movies
time
as a kid.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't into sports and definitely not into baseball, I thought it was like a really fun, great movie. But I liked Hercules.
That was the thing about Sandlot was that it really would be able to like hit with any kid that would watch it, like whether you loved baseball or whether you were just like casual sports fan or whether you aren't even into sports in general. Like there was just sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I just liked watching the friendship dynamic.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the friendship between all those children like really felt real, and there was just this connectivity between like the age group that it was supposed to be for and what the kids were going through and what they were doing throughout that whole movie. I don't know. There's just something about that just worked for its time and worked for
I'd say it's like a classic. Oh yeah.
Well,
highly rewatchable.
It is a very popular classics booking that I often have to do for my clients.
I can see that.
That's
and
I can see
it's
that.
a pretty good, performer in that. We never usually regret booking that for a one-time showing here and there. There is 2 sequels. I've never booked those, so I didn't even know they existed.
I just remember growing up, like you would see the trailers for it where it would be like, "Hey kids, it's the Sandlot 2," and you would be like, "Oh god!" Like even as a kid, you would be like, "That's wrong." That's
none
right.
of you are real. Like you're all different.
Yeah. Like
what is this?
These are caricatures of children.
You're not allowed to call yourself Sandlot 2.
Like
stop.
How do you make caricatures of children? Like it's only like direct-to-DVD movies can do that, and that's what those sequels were. I think I never saw them, but just
I didn't even know there was a third one.
I didn't.
If as a kid,
no, there were second and third.
If as a kid, like you can just be scared by a trailer, like be scared by a trailer for the wrong reasons, like something is wrong with it. Just it doesn't work. Like the Sandlot, I think it's just timeless because it worked perfectly for its one shot.
It was just a great movie.
The director and the writer of the original, the director who also directed the 2 sequels that we were discussing, is on board to direct this prequel. So, I just don't know what the prequel would be. They were kids.
Like,
are they going to be babies? Is it going to be about their parents? Obviously, their parents didn't know each other.
Is it like someone made? Is it going to be like?
Is Hercules going to be a puppy in it?
Yeah, it's just gonna follow.
Is someone
James Earl Jones?
Is someone gonna make
Hercules.
the baseball field? Like, what would it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he gonna have to voice over a younger actor of himself?
Thing, if I'm gonna find a silver lining, unlike the second one, which just tried to continue the same kids' stories at the same age with all different people.
Yeah.
This one, whether or not they're babies or it's their parents or whatever,
babies.
It's not. It doesn't. I hope it doesn't deal with the same characters.
Right.
I don't see how it
I feel like
could.
I feel like that's better than getting all new people to play horrible caricatures of those classic characters.
Maybe a good story would be a different set of kids, like a prequel, like parents' age or grandparents' age, and they built the Sandlot.
See, that's the only thing I could come up with.
Right.
But why would I want to see that? Why do I want to see people?
Maybe.
If it's not Field of Dreams, like I don't want to see people building
Baseball diamond.
yeah, like why would I want to see it? So
maybe it brings a community together, Kyle.
I
Kyle
just
hates community.
I just don't understand the need for this to happen. I just think people need to understand that sometimes there are just certain things that are timeless because it just works perfectly and it's one little ball of whatever it is and you just can't replicate it sometimes.
Yeah, of course. We all wish that, but it's an already proven successful franchise.
Well,
so, they're going to make
it
money.
was a successful movie in the 90s.
Yeah, but it's still
I
in
don't
the
know
public
if
conscious. People know what you say when you talk about, The Sandlot.
You're killing me, Smalls. Like,
So then
people
if
know
you-
what that's from. Yeah.
So then if you make it's the same theory behind all of these reboots or reimaginings. Some of them end up being really good, some of them are terrible,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's the marketing, a big chunk of the marketing is already done for it if they just use a series people already know and like.
What I'm kind of interested in is it's Fox that's supposedly
Oh,
greenlighting
yeah.
this. What's going to happen? Is this going to be a Disney movie? Is it going to go to the streaming service? Are we seeing some iteration of Fox going to continue down?
Who knows?
I'm more interested.
Yeah,
in
that is interesting.
So,
Maybe it'll be on Disney's streaming service.
I just don't know. I just don't. I can't figure this out. Like, I don't know why we need a prequel for this. I don't know
Right.
why they want to go back to the Sandlot in general.
Just put it out of sight, out of mind. It'll come and
Yeah.
it'll go.
I mean, maybe this is the only thing we'll hear about, and nothing will happen. We don't know, but as of right now,
Maybe it
I
ends
just
up being better than the original.
blasphemy.
that's mighty big words.
Bold
You can't
move
tell
there.
the future.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's possible.
I mean, yeah, anything's possible. I just, I don't know. The Sandlot's awesome. The Sandlot's
Speaking
awesome.
Of a potential streaming service, Disney
Yeah.
made a huge leap towards theirs. They've announced a film in the works for possibly their streaming service, a live action Lady and the Tramp.
Yay.
Because we needed another movie with talking animals.
I will say this though, Lady and the Tramp isn't like the most popular of Disney's animated films, so it would kind of make sense instead of like risking it in the theaters to just throw it on a streaming service and just see how it works.
I was
Yeah.
surprised to hear that it's not as popular as I thought, because I watched a lot. That and
Really? I never
Oliver
liked
and
it.
Company. I watched those like a bunch.
I probably watched Lady and the Tramp once in my life.
Yeah, no,
I'll be honest.
I like dogs.
Did you like 101 Dalmatians? I watched that one way
Yeah,
more.
I watched that. I like that one.
They're making a live action one of that too.
Oh my god!
Wait,
Another
are they?
Yeah.
They already made those
Oh.
2 live action ones. I think Glenn Close was in them.
Yes,
Yeah.
she.
In the
Yeah,
early
that-
2000s.
I thought
those are weird, man.
I just remember the second one. I think she gets turned into a muffin. Like a
Man,
giant
I don't know
muffin.
where you lost
think.
me there. I don't know what you
Yeah,
just
Cruella
said.
gets like put through a muffin assembly line, and she gets turned into a giant muffin.
Oh,
She doesn't like
God.
die or anything. Her like arms and legs and heads are sticking out, but her torso is just a giant
Yes.
muffin.
Emma Stone is playing Cruella DeVille. I knew it.
Whoa.
That's gonna be
I can
good.
see
That's
that. I can see that.
amazing.
Takes
I
place
can
in the
see that.
1970s London.
Is that supposed to be on the streaming service too?
man, I love that
think so.
casting. I actually love that
I don't
casting.
know because it's
that's
been
a
in
more
the works for a
established
while.
franchise. I can see that being a theatrical release.
Yeah,
But no, yeah,
With
it's
Emma
interesting to
Stone?
see Lady and the Tramp. I think who's confirmed for it? I know
Just-
Sam Elliott's in it.
yeah. Justin
Or his
Theroux is gonna
voice.
voice Tramp,
Nice.
Okay,
and
sure.
then the only other one was Kiersey Clemens, who's gonna be Lady's owner. And see,
Okay.
Lady meets Tramp because her owner has a baby and doesn't have time for Lady, so Lady ends up
Aw.
wandering the streets and meets Tramp.
It's kind of funny that they. Oh, I guess not funny, but it's interesting that they cast someone as talented as Kiersey is to play such a minor role as.
Maybe the role will
Lady's
be a lot
owner.
bigger in this one.
I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
but the point is to watch the dogs do funny stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
why.
gonna be weird. Like when they inevitably try and recreate that spaghetti scene.
Yeah.
with these CGI dogs.
Or
'Cause
maybe,
I can't doubt. I
what
can't
if they
imagine.
use real dogs and do the talking
Yeah,
mouth
no,
thing?
I'm saying I can't imagine they would do that.
No,
They-
please, no.
It's live
It doesn't
action.
age well.
They probably use real dogs and do the talking mouth thing.
No.
There's no way.
No, we don't
How would
want
they
that
do
trope
it then?
anymore.
I don't know. Thinking about this, a live action Lady and the Tramp, it could either be the animals are real and just don't talk. They could do
Homer
the moving
bound it.
mouth things, but there's no way that they would
Yeah.
do that.
That's
Or they're fully CG.
Or they're like full. They go like the Mowgli route, where they have
Yeah.
like the actual actors' faces weirdly mapped onto the animal faces, and like they talk, and it looks.
We have the winner.
terrifying. See, none of those options are really that good, but I would take the one where the animals just don't talk.
It's kind of funny that
But we know that's not true
Yeah,
because
'cause-
Sam Elliott's voicing the police dog, and Justin Theroux's Tramp.
It's kind of funny that we're worrying
So-
about how to make these dogs work in like CGI form when we've seen like lions and bears work well in CGI, like in the Jungle Book or whatever.
I'm
like,
sure it'll be fine, but I'm thinking specifically about the spaghetti scene. Like, I think it's just gonna look weird. Like, it's not gonna look as cute and romantic as the hand drawn, like slurping up the
plus
noodle.
like in animated form, like something as weird as dogs eating spaghetti just works so well. And since it's gonna be like live action and try to look as real as it could, like you're right, it probably would.
Yeah, they're gonna
look
be
weird.
these photorealistic CG dogs licking each other's tongues, and there's gonna be this like real pizza making guy in the background with like his stained apron.
He's like, "This is my job."
and he's like, what? It's gonna be weird. I don't know.
Well, that's probably why it's going to streaming service.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not only is it like not the most popular of Disney's movies, but also just like it's kind of like weirdly one of the most risky ones. So they're
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
just thinking, you know what?
Let's try it.
Let's at least make it as great as it could be, but be safe and put it
Yeah.
on a streaming service.
Well, it makes me wonder how Disney is going to use its streaming service going forward. I'm mainly talking about for its movies. I'm wondering if they're going to think of their streaming service as a lesser platform for their movies than the traditional theatrical release. So I wonder if there's going to be a pattern, like you can tell that, if that 101 Dalmatians movie turns out to they put a lot of work into it and it looks really good, I can see that being a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Whereas this Lady and the Tramp movie, which I just heard about in the last couple of days, it's like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't as big of an undertaking for the studio.
Right, yeah.
So maybe it's meant specifically for the streaming service.
The 101 Dalmatians one centers around Cruella de Vil, and it's called Cruella.
Oh, they're going Maleficent on it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's totally going to be a theatrical release.
Yeah.
They're going to try and make her realistic.
Oh yeah, it's Emma Stone. She looks great. We'll put SSI will put up the picture for it.
Anti-heroine.
It looks great.
I want Emma Stone to go full nuts.
They're gonna do a Disney villains movie, and they already have
Yeah,
Maleficent.
but they're not villains.
they have
Maleficent's not a
Cruella.
villain anymore.
They're gonna have.
She's a hero.
They're having a live action Little
No, she's still
Mermaid,
a
so you're
villain.
gonna have what's the one from Little Mermaid?
Oh, Ursula?
Ursula. Yeah, they're gonna go this route.
Ew.
We're gonna have Ursula. We're gonna have Cruella.
Disgusting.
We're gonna have the Wicked Witch, maybe. I don't know who else is a Disney
The
villain.
Wicked Witch? What?
Who's the?
I don't think that's Disney.
That's Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's Wizard of Oz. What are you talking about?
They did that with Wicked.
Who else would be?
There's an evil
Captain
witch thing in
Hook,
Snow White, though.
The evil queen is from
Yeah.
Snow White.
the Queen of Hearts.
Oh yeah.
Well, then again, they
Alice in
already done
Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland movies, and I think they're stopping now on those.
Maybe.
So maybe not that one. I mean, the point of the Disney villains and why they're awesome is because they're awesome villains. Like, we don't want a different story of them being like, no, we were actually the good guy the whole
I
time.
hate that.
Sure, I tried to kill the hero, but it was for a good cause. No, we don't. I don't want that. I don't know how many other people want that either. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I want Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil going crazy and kidnapping puppies. There. I said it.
Yeah.
I said it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It'll be. I can't.
I'm worried.
I don't know how the streaming service is gonna look. What kind of content's gonna be on it? How it's gonna affect the other streaming services?
how it's going to affect movie theaters.
It's just another
Disney's making
Disney
the bold
finger in
move, and they're
another
and they're the
whatever
only
that
ones that can
expression.
do this, and they're the ones that we legitimately rely for the most part on quality product that's consistent. And here we go, another film that could easily be put in theaters is, although I don't know how easily or how much we want it, but it is being put on a streaming service and just totally bypassing exhibition.
Yep.
And I hate to see that happening. I just hate it. And it makes me not want to even watch anything on their streaming service.
Yeah.
I don't know. They already suckered me into wanting to watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars on their streaming service.
Yep, they're bringing it back for streaming.
That's a good show. I'm glad they're bringing it back. But I think in time we'll hear their plan. I mean, I think D23 is about to come up soon, so I wouldn't be shocked if they're like, here's the plan for what kind of content will be on our streaming service.
Yeah, it was interesting how big that reaction for that show was, because I never watched that show, but people were like crazy. Like, that's a big deal on Disney's part. Like, that's a huge selling point for their streaming service.
Yeah,
I never would have expected.
It's a pretty solid show. I never watched the complete series, but I would catch up on it every now and again.
I was
would
just
always be
associated it with
impressed.
that crappy 2008 film that they released.
Yeah, that
that
I've
was
heard.
called, the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
that had that animation.
That was supposed to be the jumping point to
Yeah,
the
I never saw that. I thought it looked incredibly stupid. And then the show came after that. I'm like, this is just the same stuff. Like, so I just never bothered. But
yeah,
apparently it's a huge deal.
it is a huge deal.
I was too old for all of that.
That's fair. But it is anyway, that's not the point. The point is about the streaming service. So I wouldn't be shocked if in time they're not going to just blindly be like, here it is. Like they'll tell us like what's going to be on there, like what kind of plans they have going for it.
Well, I still am
started.
totally in the dark about it. I don't know what it's called. I don't know when to expect it to go live.
It goes live in 2019. Disney announced when they first announced their streaming service that they were going to do a streaming service for ESPN. And
yeah, I did. I remember hearing about that back when they first broke the news.
And then a Disney content streaming service. ESPN has since gone with their streaming, and I don't know how that's doing, but it seems to probably be doing well because they're forging ahead with their Disney streaming. That's one reason why they pulled out of the Netflix deal. They're going to pull all their content in 2019 for Netflix, and all of that will go on Disney streaming.
When in 2019?
I think the beginning.
Oh, starting the year off.
Yeah.
Just hit the ground running. Yeah, that'll be... I don't know.
But now with this Fox acquisition coinciding with that 2019 date as well, we're just... It'll be interesting to see how it all develops.
Yeah.
They'll tell us. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. They'll make
They'll tell
announcements.
us.
Well, they'll tell us, but I don't know if that makes it any better.
Yeah, I don't...
At least they would tell you like what they're thinking of doing instead of just blindly being like, we're throwing this here, we're doing this here, and
that's kind of what they're doing now, though. They're saying, hey, we have this one in development. It's probably for our streaming service.
Right? Yeah.
We just
in time, I think they'll inform.
We know
us.
that all the Netflix content is going to streaming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder, like from the very beginning, because I would imagine they want to have a plethora of content from the get-go for people to act as incentive. So I wonder if they're gonna, because Force Awakens, Rogue One, and Last Jedi, which I think is still on it, have all been on Netflix. So I wonder if right when this streaming service launches, they'll just be there. They'll be available from the beginning.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
All of the Marvel movies that have come out so far. Because if it's just access to their entire catalog, that would be a huge selling point.
I think also bringing back maybe some of their popular shows from Disney Channel or Toon Disney or whatever the heck.
And
There's
they'll
so
have
much.
they'll have ABC.
So many.
ABC shows that they've previously canceled, all that content.
Exactly, they could put that on there too. There really is a lot in their catalog where they could tempt people into really checking it out.
That's why they're the first and probably one of the few. I think Fox could have also done this. They have Fox TV, and they had a Fox movie library. They might have been one that could have done it. Paramount was too small. Warner's is another one that I think could do it.
Yeah, Warner's would be another one.
But they're, stuck in that limbo with their AT&T merger. And so I don't know. You're just whatever happens, you're gonna see more and more streaming services from the studios.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I mean, I kind of like the idea of being able to go and see past movies, because Disney has always had that tradition of putting movies away in the vault.
Yeah.
Are they going to do that with their streaming?
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like,
the point was to keep engagement and keep up demand for their product, for their home video product, by not making it available. But but streaming, the point is that it's all available
all the time.
All the time, whenever I want it. So is that a whole new model for the Disney?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I was wondering, because, you know, am I going to be able to go to like the animated Disney Classics section and just have, you know, from Snow White all the way up to
Moana?
Yeah.
I want a live action Moana, by the way. If they're going to do another live action one after Mulan.
Moana's so recent, they can't do
Moana.
that.
I want a live
Sacrilege.
action one. I can even get Dwayne Johnson to be in it. They can just get the
Yeah. Oh man.
And
okay,
the girl they got to
now.
voice Moana, she is like perfect spitting image of Moana. They just get that girl back.
Actually,
after
yeah,
them.
you're right. Now they wow.
They can
Yeah,
just
no
get all the characters back and just
No, that'd be so pointless.
No, it's not pointless.
No, it's amazing and it's a great idea.
Oh yeah, sorry. I can't ask. I wouldn't ask for anything more.
Thank you.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, I love Moana.
But no, that's what I wonder. Like, because if they can do that, because people love their classic Disney movies, so
it could work.
I think it will work.
Yeah.
It's just
Are they gonna have a vault, and then when you want to go see something, it's like a vault icon locks you out?
yeah, probably
It's in the vault.
It's the
I
digital
would
vault.
love that. I would actually love that so much. It would drive me crazy to figure out how to get in, but I would love it. I don't know why either.
You have
I
to
just
pay
think
extra,
that'd be cool.
and then all the vault doors unlock.
Yeah, you
for
got to pay for the vault access.
Oh, I wouldn't
Yeah.
pay it.
It's
I wouldn't pay at
extension
all,
package.
but I just would be like, this is cool. This is cool.
Then you get this big animation of a vault door like opening.
You're just like,
When you
just
log
getting
in,
excited.
Welcome.
You know how Netflix goes and it has the Netflix
Yeah.
logo? This is the Disney. When you're vault access level, just the vault opens and you go in, and it's
Just
like
a
all
squeaky
gold.
door sound.
It's like,
Jeez.
and it's like gold and bah.
I just want to know what it's going to be called. I hope it's not just called like
Disney
streaming
Stream.
service.
Yeah.
Don't call it that. Don't. That sounded better in my head.
Right.
I don't know, but they'll tell
D-Stream.
us. I believe in them.
Yeah. Well, I'm not super excited to see where that goes, and it's just happening so quickly, and it's giving nobody time to adjust for theaters or to really negotiate what that means on the booking end for terms and that kind of stuff. It just is like, nope, this is happening now. We're like, whoa, wait.
Figure out what you're going to do, but we're going through with this.
Yeah.
Do you think this service will help other studios be able to compete against Disney a little better for releases in theaters? Do you know what I mean?
On the release calendar?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if Disney quits putting releases on the release calendar, everybody else will do better.
Well, I just mean like obviously they'll still put stuff in theaters. So I'm wondering if because it'll become less stuff that they put in theaters, if it'll help
I
other
don't know
theaters
how
more.
much. I don't know how much less they can get. They only do maybe 8 titles a year at most. They don't even do one once a month. So
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
I don't think they're gonna get much less. So I don't think it's really
So
gonna
no.
change anything. No,
Disney became too
unfortunately.
powerful.
I think the only thing that could change is if they go day and date with their streaming service, so it comes out in the theater and is available on streaming. That's a no-go, and
Yeah.
for a lot of theater owners, and I think that's where you're gonna see a big change. But there's no indication that they plan on doing that.
Yeah, if they do that, that will be really slimy to do, but
Or
I'd be a
even
little
keep a
surprised.
short window where you get like 2 weeks and then it goes on their streaming service.
Even that would
That probably would be a
bad.
no-go.
yeah.
Your exclusivity window is just so short.
Yeah.
And then I think theaters could do that, but Disney would have to come down in terms.
Right.
Because it's not fair to pay terms on a film that you're usually playing like 10 weeks in a theater that you're only getting a 2-week exclusive window. So They're just emboldened, though, to do what they want because they're number one. But they're because they got the great content.
Yeah.
But you know what is coming up?
That they don't have?
That they don't have.
What?
Tell us, Cody.
Cowboy Ninja Viking. It is still happening. Chris Pratt is still attached, and they have announced a new addition to the cast, Priyanka Chopra. I don't know how she's going to fit into it. I wonder if she'll be a ninja.
No,
Or a
the
Yeah.
story of that comic is that there's this guy who has the personalities of a cowboy, a Viking, and a ninja. If I remember the synopsis correctly. So
doesn't
like
mean
What
she's
is
not
the
gonna-
personality of
Yeah.
a ninja?
super cool. I don't know.
Quiet.
What's the
Quiet.
personality of a cowboy?
I don't know if it's like a personality, but
It's
Howdy,
a
maybe,
broad
dude.
generalization.
but maybe it's like the
Yeah.
abilities of it as well. I don't know, but I think I don't know
She
what
could
character
still-
she'll be playing.
She could still be a
What,
ninja.
what,
I mean,
what has she
I guess
been
she
in?
could.
What do I know her from anything?
She's, I think, on a TV show.
You
I
ever
don't
seen
think she-
Baywatch,
no.
the new movie? You don't want to, but she is in it.
Okay. I thought she was just in a TV show, but nothing. Not a whole lot. She's in a lot of celebrity gossip columns.
Oh,
Woo!
Yeah.
she's
Very exciting.
It sounds like it's a good thing to be hiring her though, because they had chemistry tests with a lot of actors for the role, and they all played against Chris Pratt, and she was like the clear winner. Like she had the best chemistry with him, so that's promising. And with a weird concept like Cowboy Viking Ninja is, like I think you need to make sure like you have really good chemistry and you all know exactly like what this is in order to pull this off. Because this could just be so out of the box that it could not work out.
Yeah.
It's just.
I wonder
it's a
how
weird
much
comic.
Chris Pratt's star power will help it, because
I think it could help.
he
it a
was
bit
huge
still.
for a little while there. Like,
I think he's still huge. I would say.
I think everybody's mad at him for his role in bringing and allowing Thanos to snap his fingers.
no, I mean
Well,
like because
okay.
obviously he people thought he was the funny dude in Parks and Rec, and then he got like super ripped for Guardians, and people were like, whoa, he's hot now, and he was really funny, and so people loved that. And then he did Jurassic World, so
Yeah.
he has that huge thing. But the only other thing that I really can think of is that terrible Magnificent Seven remake that didn't really do anything. So I don't.
Yeah.
When I think of Chris Pratt, there's not like a movie that doesn't already have like a huge fandom behind it that he's just, gotten lucky that he's in. So I wonder if, something like this will be able to succeed purely based off of him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's tough anymore because stars don't have the same power to drive audiences to the theater like they used to.
Yeah,
Except for
true.
Tom Cruise.
And Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, really. Like
not
besides those two names.
Not even Dwayne
Yeah.
Johnson could save Baywatch or Skyscraper.
No.
But
Oh,
they all have their
Baywatch.
misses.
What a movie. Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad that we're finally getting news about Cowboy Ninja Viking again, because they announced that this was going to be a thing like years ago with Chris Pratt. And hopefully like their chemistry works well in the entire movie in general
I don't know
whenever
anything
we finally
about
see
it.
it.
So.
It makes me want to check out the comic, that's for sure. Like it
was-
looks really cool.
I was just surprised it was still a thing.
Yeah, no, me
Me
too.
too. Like I saw
It's like, oh yeah, that was that
I
day.
saw the
I thought I
reports
read about
happening.
that a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw the reports happening and was like, oh yeah, they announced this earlier. Well, it looks like they're finally doing something about it. So it's supposed to
Cool.
release next year in like June.
Oh,
So we'll
that's
see.
earlier than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Well, guys, are you excited for the upcoming product this weekend? We have the Meg.
I actually am.
Oh, the
No,
Meg is
that's-
next
no,
week.
that's-
What do
Oh
we
no,
have
Christopher
this
Robin.
week?
Christopher Robin.
Christopher
I am
Robin,
definitely seeing
Darkest
Christopher Robin.
Yeah, me
Minds and Spy Who Dumped Me.
Okay.
I think
need-
Darkest Minds looks stupid.
Yes. Yes. Can we
It
please
looks
talk
ridiculous.
about this? The marketing has been horrible. I don't know what this is. I don't think anyone cares. It's not gonna do anything. It's
No.
totally
It's
gonna
not
fail.
an
I'm watching
X-Men
people like,
movie.
wait, how is this not X-Men?
Right, it's not an X-Men movie, even though
But
they have
it's an X-Men
powers.
movie.
There's a bit of a love story in it, I hear. Remains to be
Ooh.
seen.
It just looks like another young adult dystopian thing.
Yeah.
And I thought we would move past this. Like
Yeah.
Fox, you literally ended Maze Runner. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, people aren't into this stuff.
I will say though, like
Thank God.
they've barely done anything with marketing. They probably released only 2 trailers that
Yeah.
were fine, and then I've only seen clips on like Twitter. But other than that, I have not seen a thing. So I think they know what they're gonna be in for.
No, I think that movie looks stupid. But
Spy Who Dumped Me?
Spy Who Dumped Me just looks
hilarious.
like, I think it's
growing on me.
I love both those
it just looks
actresses.
like a Life of the Party, or like a
Really?
just these very, very generic like mainstream comedies that's not going to be very good probably.
Rated R comedy that's not going to do well. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it performing well, but I'm super excited to see it. I'll take the one for the team this week.
I'm excited to see
that
Kate
one.
McKinnon in like more of a leading role though. So.
She is fantastic. She's the best thing about that Ghostbusters reboot.
She's great on
was
SNL
weird.
too.
I loved her though.
She
did
just
weird
made me
so
feel
well.
weird in that movie because I didn't think that movie was very funny. Like at all.
It wasn't funny, but I loved her.
And I didn't think she was that funny either.
Well,
she
let's
was
just
She didn't have a lot to work with.
She was just doing random like sounds and
Mm-hmm.
contorting her hands and weird. I was like, "What?
Let's
is
be
this
real.
movie?"
All 4 of those actresses were all in different movies in Ghostbusters. Like, I mean, they were supposed to be different and quirky, and not everyone's the same. But it got so
well, that's
far
what happens.
to the
What's
point
his?
where it
was
all
that
different movies.
Was that also Paul Feig?
Yeah,
Feig.
I think so.
That's what happened because he's just like, "Oh, you guys are all funny. Just be funny. Like improvise everything. Be funny, and we'll just roll the cameras." And it's just not that simple.
Yeah, I don't think that worked well. For
Yeah, that movie was
Ghostbusters. Spy Who Dumped Me has been growing on me a little more. Like, I keep seeing the trailers, and little by little, like, I don't think it's gonna be that solid of a comedy, but
no.
there's just moments where I'm just like, it looks fine. Like, why not? Like,
Right.
if I get the chance to, maybe I'll give it a shot.
So-
Yeah, but I'm definitely seeing Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
super excited for that.
Oh,
Christopher Robin.
Disney got us
I know.
again.
We were just bashing on you.
How
I know.
dare they have a streaming service?
I
But
was-
Christopher Robin looks amazing.
I was so kind of not interested in Christopher Robin. I thought the animals looked creepy when I first
Oh,
saw
I
it.
love them.
I've been
'Cause
hearing
I
that. I've been hearing that.
They looked creepy at the beginning, but now when they get their little personalities and you see that they look softer, like it's more of like
they're
a
just
texture
really
thing.
old, worn out stuffed animals.
Yeah, it's definitely grown on me as well,
It's
and
Ewan
now I want to
McGregor.
see it.
I love Ewan McGregor. I
I
don't
do-
get nearly enough Ewan McGregor.
I am happy that there's gonna be a scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi is gonna look at a stuffed animal and yell "Pooh!" That alone, I'm just gonna be happy. I could walk out of the theater and be like, I don't need to see
I
it
really
anymore.
don't know what to think about like the story or what it's gonna be because the tagline seemed weirdly kind of dark to me. It's like sooner or later your past catches up with you. It's like, oh my god, like
Are they gonna murder him? What?
I feel like that could have a lot of
What
interpretation.
did Chris do?
I don't know. I'm hoping that it's like it seems like a movie it's about very kid friendly characters, but the movie itself doesn't look like a movie geared towards just kids. Like
It's more adult driven.
It's like it gives me like a melancholy kind of nostalgic feeling, and so
I can see parents taking kids to this, but it's more geared towards the parents.
Exactly,
Because it's dealing with like the idea of that your life gets away from you and, work and responsibilities and duties get ahead of family time
it's
and
all too real.
balance. And I think
Very
not,
relatable.
Not you guys yet, but I definitely relate to that. Like, if I had a stuffed animal to come remind me to spend time like outside work, I wouldn't be doing this podcast though. So
Wow,
Yeah.
thanks.
Aw.
yeah. So it's good I don't have that in real life.
But no, I'm very, very excited. I've always loved like Winnie the Pooh. It's just so heartwarming.
Yeah.
Like you can't find a single shred of cynicism in it or in the character. So after seeing Won't You Be My Neighbor, I feel like this will be right up my alley.
Nostalgia will be the key to people coming to see this for sure. Whether, I think you are right though, Eric. Like it's gonna be. I think the main problem with it, could be that it's hard to tell whether it's trying to be adult or kid friendly, or maybe if they mix it both well, then I think it'll be perfectly fine.
I'm not saying that these are gonna be similar in any way, but the vibe I kind of got from it was did you ever see Saving Mr. Banks
Yes,
with Tom Hanks?
fantastic.
Like, that's like a live action Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a family movie about things that little kids like. But you go there,
Yeah.
it's a lot more of just like an understated, just kind of low key adult drama, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's gonna be in that kind of circle.
And if it works that well, then I think I'll really enjoy the movie then.
Oh, I love Saving Mr. Banks.
Such a great movie.
I've never seen it.
It pretty
So
much makes
good.
you appreciate Mary Poppins more. Because growing up, I grew up with Mary
I've never
Poppins
seen
a
Mary
lot.
Poppins,
I grew up with Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, Mary Poppins especially, like it was like one of my mom's favorite books and favorite movies, and I would grow up with it so much. And at the time, like at the age that I was, like I didn't get it. I didn't really get why it was so as great as it's been perceived. But once I saw Saving Mr. Banks, I was like, I was like, I get it now. Like I get why
Tom
this
Hanks.
is important.
Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson. Ooh,
Yeah, great
such
casting.
good chemistry.
So you liked the Winnie the Pooh cartoon growing up, and
I liked all the
that.
Winnie the Pooh stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Winnie the Pooh, but I don't like Piglet. Piglet is annoying to me. Piglet is whiny.
Wow.
And I don't like Piglet.
I like them all.
He's just so whiny, and he's not really brave.
I remember when I was really
I don't
little and I
like
hated
that.
Rabbit, but then
Because Rabbit's mean.
Rabbit's just cranky.
Yeah.
But now I like
It
look
might
at Rabbit.
be relatable.
Oh, so great. Just that timeless scene where Rabbit, like, Pooh gets his butt stuck in like Rabbit's entryway
He
or
goes
the
to
window.
Rabbit's house and then eats
But
all of
why-
Rabbit's honey and
why
gets stuck.
does Rabbit start drawing a face on his butt? I don't get it.
Like a stag head on the wall.
Yeah, I know.
He
but,
puts
like,
antlers on
why
it.
would he do that?
To decorate it, obviously.
He's not.
So he's
does,
not looking
Well,
at
if
a
he's
butt.
stuck there, might as well do something.
Yeah, he's decorating.
Does he know it's Pooh's butt?
Didn't Rabbit put like a flower pot on top
He
of
puts
him?
everything on there.
He
He decks out Pooh's butt.
Jeez. Maybe
Goes
Winnie the
all
Pooh was
out.
weirder than I
And
remember.
then they starved Pooh, and then they got Pooh out. That's a little more scary, dark.
That was a weird way to word
It's
it.
a moral lesson.
That can't be what happens.
Yeah, he's not allowed to eat anything so that he gets skinny.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
how he-
not what it.
It's a moral lesson about gluttony
It
for,
is.
for little kids.
I'm remembering Winnie the Pooh very differently than.
There are a bunch of different iterations.
Yeah, that's
but
true. That's true.
No, I'm excited for Christopher Robin.
Oh yeah, we are excited. We swear. Nostalgia.
I hope
yeah.
we got a throwback to that scene.
Well, so are we going to early shows of it then?
I know Friday I'll be
Maybe.
going.
Friday you're going.
Yeah.
I very well could, yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to, if some of us hit up the early shows, and we'll do a Friday podcast and give us our reactions.
Totally.
Nice. I look forward
Otherwise,
to it.
we'll catch you next week with all of it.
Yay.
Nice.
All right. Take care, everyone.
See you later.